Are you doing everything right? You're sleeping early, you're eating well, you're really trying hard and still you don't feel good, you're feeling miserable? Let's have a look at one of the biggest endocrine disruptors, which is actually called stress. I know you've heard all about it. It's something that is everywhere in the news, in the magazines, in the talk shows. Everybody's stressed, nobody's tired or exhausted anymore. Everybody uses the term stress, and it's become almost like a fashion. But there's actually much more to it, and I would like to take the opportunity to talk you a little bit through what stress actually does to us on an endocrine and an hormonal level. We have been equipped by nature with a very amazing system, which is the fight and the flight mode. This means that we are equipped to respond to sudden changes, to sudden challenges. We can go to war and we have a sudden emergency that we can deal with. We are super capable to deal with stress on the short term, on the acute term. But unfortunately, the way life has taken us, the way we live, that we move less, we sit more, and we get so much more anxious because we're multitasking, we have so many things going on in our life. We are in a constant stress, in a chronic stress mode. So our body is actually on a hormonal level requested to constantly produce cortisol. Cortisol being the beautiful stress hormone that was actually once upon a time designed to just deal with acute stress. So here we are, we have big demand on cortisol on a daily basis, and nature, as it is in such a beautiful system that it's actually always trying to be in homeostasis, gives you the stress hormone, the cortisol, because nature realizes that you need it in order to cope. But the resources to produce cortisol are not endless. We're actually having a raw material out of which we produce all the hormones, which is called cholesterol. Cholesterol is the raw material out of which our body builds all the hormones. If it's thyroid hormones, the gynecological hormones, the cortisol, the adrenal hormones, any kind of hormonal building blocks that are needed, they are out of cholesterol. But we don't have unlimited resource of the cholesterol. So that's why when I have a chronic demand on one side, which is the stress hormone, the cortisol, I need at some stage slow down the production of another hormone because it's not going to work out. The numbers, they don't match. And what nature does, it kind of economizes on the most gentle and the most unnecessarily for the life balance hormone, which is the gynecological hormones. The gynecological hormones, especially the progesterone, is the hormone that we produce after ovulation. It prepares the lining of the womb and it prepares for implantation, and it's very important for the second phase of the cycle. But if you're stressed and you're under constant duress and you're just about coping, the last thing nature really wants is to get pregnant. And from that point of view, we are usually losing the ability to produce progesterone in order to sacrifice the overproduction of cholesterol. Remember, it's a constant balance that nature wants to achieve, and the balance here is on the cost of the cortisol. What does it mean for us almost hormonological? If I have no progesterone, what does it do to me? It makes the estrogen dominant. That doesn't mean necessarily that the number of the estrogen goes up, but it just becomes so much more dominant, so much more leading in terms of symptoms. So that's where we suddenly get bloated, where we get heavy periods, where we get period pains, and many, many more things. And that's why I want you to really realize that if I'm constantly allowing myself to be in a stress mode, that's what I do to my body. I start increasing a shift towards the cortisol hormone that will debalance my gynecological hormones, and that gives me all the gynecological problems that we have been discussing before. So be aware, take your lifestyle in your own hand, try to reduce stress and be, very much aware of what you're doing and what you're doing to your body. And that's why stress is not only a fashion, but it's actually an attack on our hormone balance, that we, understanding the connections and the feedback that happens from one to the other, we're much more capable of dealing with it. Thank you very much.